Hey, good afternoon, Gus. When you're facing a team like the Raiders, who have pretty much been clicking on all cylinders as of late, with Derek Carr, how difficult does it become when you have to defend against a quarterback like Derek Carr and his stature?
Well, he's playing really at a high level. One thing I think in the past couple of years playing him, he's very efficient, makes very good decisions. There's many times when you see, he's 28 for 32 for 200 and some yards, makes very good decision making and very efficient offense. I think what's a little bit different this year is just their explosiveness as a team. They got very good skill players on the perimeter. Tight end obviously is a big time threat, and they're really doing a good job stressing a defense that way. So you're seeing more explosive plays, and you're seeing their offense being more productive and explosive on the passing side of it. It's always a thing when you get to playing the Raiders. It's going to be a very physical game. Got a lot of respect for the offensive line and the offensive line coach being with them at Seattle. So we got to prepare for that type of mentality. They're a running team that can run the ball 35, 40 times a game and just try to come at you that way. So they provide a lot of things that you got to be prepared for, a lot of skilled threats, and, very physical team.
You talked about the running game, Gus, and we know one of the key components is Josh Jacobs, who has over 500 yards, 5 TDs, only one fumble. How much difficulty does he present going up against him and trying to neutralize him and not letting him go off and help the Raiders prevail in the victory?
Well, it's so true. He's such a dynamic back. He's got really, really good vision. I know in their scheme, the zone scheme, you really got to trust it. There's a saying that I heard Coach Cable always say, run through darkness, when I was at Seattle. And it's, running back to have faith that it might look closed right away, but it's going to open up. When I'm watching a lot of film on his running style, I see a guy that has tremendous faith and tremendous trust in his offensive line. He's got the skill set where he can jump cut, he can attack the perimeter. So he's got all the facets that you're looking for in a running back.
Thank you, guys.
Cam.
Hey, Coach. We talk about what sets the tight end Waller apart from the other tight ends that you guys have faced this season.
Well, he's big, he's physical, and very fast. I think his speed really, really jumps out at us. Here he was a converted wide receiver, so he's got the skill set of a wide receiver running routes and knows how to read coverages and things like that. But just his speed and his size, it's a challenge, to play around him, play through him. How do you keep vision of him? He's got to be a guy that we have great awareness on the field where he's at. He's a highly targeted player. And they do a great job of lining him up all over the place. So when you look at matchups, it's, difficult at times to know where he's going to be and how you're going to match up with him.
In regards to your linebacker, Kenneth Murray, how have you seen his game evolve through week 1 to week 8?
Well, I think I've been very pleased with where he's at. I relate a little bit to Jerry Tillery. Jerry Tillery didn't have an OTAs. He didn't have, he missed some of the time, so that where that's so important for him. And, Jerry Tillery, you could see him just getting better and better. Now this year, in our minds, he's played a notch above last year. That's for sure. So with Kenneth Murray, we knew we were going to go through some growing pains, with him because of the experience part of it. But overall, his leadership of the group, command of the huddle, getting us lined up, ready to go. There's times I'm sure he would like to have back, and just like any of our players. But overall, he's done a really good job. He's going to be a really good player for us. We just got to keep him going and keep him heading in the right direction.
And lastly, Coach, this streak of you guys giving up double-digit leads in the last games, have you been able to put a finger on this and kind of get this turned around? What's your answer to that?
Yeah, you know what? It's a great question. It's something that we've been looking at. I mean, we try to attack it in the bye week. And, that's where, Coach Lynn has always come up. He's been great. His message is so consistent about we win and lose as a team. And that message has been so clear. But in situations like this, you take it personal. Here you have, I think we had in the Denver game 10 series where they averaged 3.5 plays a series, and we gave up a touchdown. And there's times when I look at it and I go, that's exactly how it should look like. That is exactly the touchdown that they got on a run. That's on me. I ran a pressure, and we put an inexperienced player in a position to make the play. We really hadn't showed them that play in practice and to that set. So, I take responsibility for that one. But overall, just watching it, sensing it, how we were playing, it felt like, hey, this is how it looks. This is, we get an interception, give our offense an opportunity. But then, then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, when you have the lead like we do, really you're looking at time. And the only way a team like that could come back is if they score quickly. And, they scored in 2 plays, execution, some execution things we got to work on. Also penalties. We had a couple penalties within a drive, that gave them better field position. So as we look at it, it comes down to execution, and that's on me. I got to look at our players and make sure that not asking too much of them in these situations. And, it seems like a broken record a little bit, but, we just got to, keep going through these growing pains at times with that. And, they hurt and I hurt. And, that's how you're going to get it right.
Thanks for that, Coach.
Jeff.
Gus, given what's happened the last 4 weeks, it would just be human nature for your team to, if you get ahead, to start to worry. I mean, are you concerned at all about this being almost a mental thing now?
Well, that's a great question for them. I think that, I thought our sideline after the long run was really good. It was, hey, it happened. We got to make the play. What I love about our guys is there's a sense of peer-to-peer accountability. They're on each other about, hey, what is the standard, what it should look like, and that's not acceptable. Now let's go back there and play. I think that after that 2-play series, where they got the touchdown, at that point it was like, all right, hey, we got to get going here now. We got to, now we're into a time when we got to execute. And, our issue is, Jeff, a little bit is that you have maybe 10 guys executing, and then one guy might not execute in a certain play. And it's not one particular guy. It's, maybe guys are taking turns a little bit, so that's what we got to work on. And, but I really have gotten great strength from our guys. They had a meeting yesterday and talked about, even more peer-to-peer accountability. And, but really, I mean, like I said, you take it personal. There's things that I have to do as a coach and look at and say, all right, what's taking place here? And we got to put our guys in better position to make plays with calls or, what we're asking of them to do.
And was the feeling after the game on last week, it seemed different, just the tenor of that game. It almost seemed more dramatic. I mean, did it feel different after the game?
I think so. To be honest with you, I do. I think the reason was because we played so well for such a long period of time. And then, you're looking up in the fourth quarter, the start of the fourth quarter, and you feel like you got really good control of the game. And you come out of there like, how did this happen? It seems like there's different ways each week, but that one was just different because of, really in 3 drives, I think it was 3 touchdowns. And how did it happen when we have the lead that we had? So, yeah, I would say that this one probably stung a little bit more just because of the way it happened. It's almost like these things can't possibly take place in this amount of time. And it did. So, but like I said, I give our guys great credit now. I mean, they came back and they were hurting on Monday. And, you try to get a sense of them through a Zoom call. You wish you could be with them and go through it as a unit. But, they've been back to work and great. And like I said, they've had that meeting yesterday about just, holding each other to that standard of, the good thing I look at is they've got those 10 series what they know what it can look like, and I think that's what they're going off saying, hey, this is what it does look like. This is what it can look like. We just got to do that through the whole game.
Thanks, guys.
Michael.
Hey, Coach. First, just want to get your thoughts on Tavon Campbell's play this past Sunday against Denver.
He was thrown in the fire a little bit. Here he is. He's getting reps on Saturday. And, he's gotten reps throughout the year on occasion. Not as many as probably he should have to prepare for this situation. But to go in there, I thought he executed pretty well. What do you say? The first half, he played fine. He did a nice job. So that's what we're trying to do now. We got extra meeting time with him right now. We're trying to get him caught up on some of the issues that of playing the position. Well, I really like his skill set, his speed. He's a quick twitch player. And, we're excited about him. He was one that we kind of targeted. If we had OTAs, we really wanted to develop and see how far he would come along at that position.
And Chris Harris is probably out, another 1, 2, maybe 3 weeks. How's he been on the sideline, just trying to help out as much as possible?
He's been great in meetings. His knowledge level and his expertise. I'm sure he's a guy that's helping Campbell now with the position and understanding the position. So, listen, Campbell's going to do a good job for us. He'll make some mistakes here and there, but it's something that we have great confidence in him, just because he is a highly competitive player and he wants to do right. He wants to do right, but Chris has been an asset for us in that.
And lastly, I was surprised to see that Derek Carr's only thrown just 2 interceptions. 14 touchdowns. He's been super efficient. Just what have you seen from that offense that has allowed him to play such a safe level of football?
I think that just being the number of years now he's been in Coach Gruden's system, you just sense a real strong confidence level. He manages the team. He checks things at the line of scrimmage. It comes across on film that he has a high command of the offense. And with that, he's playing with a great deal of confidence. He knows when to take the shots, when to take the sure throws, and they're playing very efficiently because of it.
Thank you, Coach.
Gilbert.
Yeah, guys, wanted to get your reaction on the Desmond King trade, and why do you think it didn't work out with the Chargers?
You know what? I've always appreciated Des. I think that, him playing the position, there was always a deal where you knew what you were getting from him. We knew what we could count on. You focused your attention on other things because he was playing at such a consistently, good level of football for us. So, like I said, I got a great relationship with Des. Wish him nothing but the best. He's been very good for us, as a player on the defensive side. And, like I said, I visited with him and wish him nothing but the best. So, but really appreciate his time here. And, I think it'll be good for him. I know he's excited about and appreciates the time here, but also excited about his opportunity. Why it didn't work out, I think it's just opportunities. I think, opportunities to play more. What was his role going to be? So that's a conversation with him. Like I said, he's a highly competitive individual.
And Gus, is the plan for Campbell to get most of the snaps at slot cornerback, or do you think it could be rotation with maybe Niles or even Jaleel Dye?
No, I think you'll see Campbell there for the most part. We have different packages where you might see someone move in and out of there, but I think he'll be being our corner at this point.
And Gus, you mentioned the 10 good drives against the Broncos for the defense. Do you point at that when say, players are, start losing focus or confidence in the scheme, and maybe they start, getting frustrated with the losses? Do you point to that film and say, this can't work, and you just keep believing in the scheme?
Yeah, well, I think that's sometimes what you do when you sense that. I don't sense that with our guys. I think it's more about, our standard of what it should look like. And that's that last drive or this drive or the fourth quarter, that's not us. And, what's us is when we go out there and take care of business and we're playing at a pretty high level. It's, my concern would be if it's a 14-play drive and they go 99 yards and we're executing at a high level and we just can't stop them. That's where I look at it and saying, all right, what are we doing? Maybe we got to do something different here. Even we're playing it really well and we're not getting any stops. I think that's where you got to have enough humility as a coordinator to really look at it and say, all right, we need to make some changes. But, when it's a play here and a play there, you're looking at it and saying, how does that happen when it's a 2-play drive for a touchdown? Is it scheme? Is it they're attacking the scheme? Or, like I said, I think you have to have enough humility to say, all right, first look at me, first look at us as a defensive staff. How are we putting our players in position? And then you just, you go about finding the answers to it.
Thank you, Gus.
Joe.
Gus, can you take us through a postmortem on the final play and what happened? I know Anthony said that, Shawn was where he should be and everything, but just your perspectives.
Yeah. I guess without giving too much away, it was a call where we should have had another defensive lineman to the side of the sprint pass, to the rollout. And so we, for some reason, didn't I don't know, close call wise, if we got lined up properly, didn't hear the close call. So we just got misaligned on there, and we were missing a defensive end to that side. And, if we would have had the defensive end there, his job was to climb high and be there for it. But, he ended up being on the other side. So that's the part that I'm talking about, where it wasn't a player messed up execution wise on that play. We just didn't get lined up right. And that's a communication error. Listening to the close call, making the proper close call in a critical time, and executing in a chaotic environment or a critical situation. That seems to be a little bit of a common thing, that those type things happen. And that's just taking control of the situation, being tuned and getting lined up and playing the play accordingly. We just weren't aligned right. You're right.
Okay. Has Anthony taken on more of a role with the defense the past couple of weeks, or have you guys had more meetings and stuff?
Yeah, I would say, our relationship with Anthony is, I always bend his ear, especially teams like that run zone schemes and things like that we're seeing. So, I think it's always good. And Coach Lynn and I just brought him in the other day and showed him a series of plays and tell me, what your thoughts are on this. Why does an offense do this in your mind? How do you see them attacking it? Or how do they look at a defense? So those conversations have been ongoing throughout the year. I've asked to him, I said, what makes it tougher on a defense or on an offense in these situations? So he's provided great communication, good leadership, and some things that we've taken a look at. And we put into the game plan just from our conversations. So, but that's pretty much been ongoing. We have those conversations through training camp and OTAs. So, like I said, I appreciate his strength through this and his leadership.
Well, he hasn't taken a deeper dive into the game plan and stuff.
No. Okay. I mean, he'll come in. We always have our conversations. What's in the game plan? What do we think about playing this more, or, attacking things, some general conversations. And so we've tried to implement some of those ideas based on looking at what a team's doing and how we can, put it into our defense. So but that's, like I said, that's been going on. That's ongoing since I've been here, and my relationship with Anthony.
And then just last thing for me, I know you and Dan Quinn coached together in Seattle for a couple years, and unfortunately Dan's team, when he was in Atlanta, had runs where they'd have large leads and would squander them. But I don't know how close you guys are, but would you guys ever talk on the phone or stuff just about trying to put your heads together about just approaches going through runs like this?
Right. It's a good point. Dan Quinn and I are very close. We worked together for years, have great respect for each other. I know I reached out to him during the season some, but I have not talked to him about this situation, about what we're, some of the things that we're going through now. I think if you talk to a player, you talk to coaches that have been through it, it's like, what, you just got, the only way you're going to get it correct is through hard work. You just got to have faith and keep working hard. And like I said, have enough humility to see if there needs to be changes, and that changes is scheme, personnel, be open-minded to those things. So you got a chance to get better, but then it just comes back to, hard work. And, that's what we have to do. So I see that on the field with our guys. I see the intent is there. The focus is there to, let's get this right, because that part wasn't us.
Okay. Thanks, Gus.
All right, guys, we have time for two more. Fernando, go ahead.
Gus, obviously the Raiders offensive line is very good, but Joey, you might be down a pass rusher. Joey Bosa has been in concussion protocol. If you don't have him, how difficult will it be to face a talented Raiders offense without Bosa?
Well, I mean, obviously Joey Bosa is an extremely good player for us. And, but it gives opportunities. If he's not ready to play or cannot play because of it, then, the next guy's got to come up, and we've got good confidence. That's the part that I told you before that I appreciated with Giff, is that he rolls the players so much that when, someone goes down with an injury and another guy steps up, it's not like they haven't played with him before. They understand what they're getting. And so we'll have to move some people around, to get guys in position and utilize their strengths. But, we'll just roll. Joey's been out before, or, maybe not at full strength, and we've had to come up with a plan for it. So we'll have to do the same thing. But the big thing with the defensive line is the mindset, along with the linebackers, the anticipation of really a physical game.
All right, last one here. Michael, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, just a quick X's and O's question. On the 3rd and 16 completion to Jerry Jeudy, it looked like you guys were in a cover 4 look, and they ran like a dagger concept out of a trips, and he hit Jerry Jeudy kind of on the dig route. Was that more of just a perfect throw by Locke? Because, I mean, your linebackers were right at the sticks. Your safeties were obviously over the top, but it just looked like he hit that perfect window. Was that kind of the case there?
Yeah, I think again, not going into too much detail, exactly what we were doing. I think, first of all, give them credit. He made a really good throw. The window was open, and they made the play. As far as where we're supposed to be, we weren't quite where we need to be. So it does put stress on us, on a couple of our players in that situation. But a lot of times, if you're in the right position, maybe it doesn't look as open and the quarterback comes off of it. But in that case, like I mentioned before, it's such a precision game. If you're not where you exactly need to be, they'll execute. And it's not like you're going to be perfect the whole game. There's other plays in the first half, even though we played fairly well, we didn't execute at times perfectly, but maybe they didn't see it. Maybe they didn't execute. It just so happened on that play, they executed very well.
Thank you, Coach.